I think this is possibly our biggest umbraCoffee in a while, with this many guests at least. We, of course, today are joined by the friendly Unicore team. Hello.
Straight from Umbraco HQ and the famous room used for all of the meetings and umbraCoffees. How are you there? How's your time in Denmark so far?
Going great. Good. Yeah.
We'll get to more examination of your work and your reasoning behind this meeting later on. But once again, we wanted to just start from.
If anyone watching has questions, stick them in the chat, and we'll get them answered.
Yep. But we wanted to start from events because we have so many great events happening in our community sooner or later, and also in the next weeks that it would be a shame to not highlight them first. Callum, most of us are going to Umbraco Spark next month, and during this weekend or on Monday, the
notebooks.
We have one of the organizers in the room, right? So Steve, maybe you can tell us more when the exact date for the early birds is ending.
Yeah, so it's March the 6th is the conference date. Today is the last day of discount tickets. After this, it goes up to £100 plus VAT. So if you want the ticket, you'd be smart to buy them today. We've got some big names talking. Niels is going to come and do something that's not a keynote. So something a bit different. We've got John Ski coming along. Bjarke is coming, telling us about the .NET Core stuff. So worth coming along. Emma's talking.
Yeah.
So it should be good. It was a really good event last year. A lot more developer focused than some of the festivals you might have been to. So it should be a bit different from the sort of everyday festival stuff. If you're a developer, it's definitely worth coming along.
And it's always sunny in Bristol, right?
Yeah, it's in Bristol. Yeah, in Bristol this year. Next year may be different. So sort of changes ahead. But yeah, this is probably the last year in Bristol of it. So also, if you're a Bristol-based agency, we just confirmed all the sponsors are on there now. So we've got Mentor, Wattle, Umbrella, Crumpled Dog, and sorry. Rock Solid. Yes.
I said that I've been working with Callum for a long time, and he always said that Bristol is the best town to visit in UK, and and then I always heard. So I finally convinced myself to do it, so everyone can just join and see this amazing lineup there. I'm really curious, and I heard only positive opinions about.
We'll be doing an umbraCoffee.
Yeah.
I think we can announce that.
Of course. But Callum, speaking about events and about you, you've been busy recently about planning and hiding behind the scenes planning the amazing Umbraco Roadshow, which is now public, right? Do you want to tell us more about this one?
Yeah. So last April, I did a roadshow in Europe where. Roadshow is the wrong word because there was no cars involved or any roads. But the idea of traveling around multiple places and talking about Umbraco and getting some amazing community members along as well. And literally the second that it finished, discussions started with HQ about how can we do more of this? How can we make these bigger? And the plan all along was to do this in the US. So this year, it's going to the US, and it's going to be really big, really packed. So it's 10 dates across 3 weeks, between March 23rd and April 9th, starting in New York. There's going to be a couple of changes to the lineup that's on the website right now. We've managed to squeeze a couple of extra dates in to make things a bit more exciting. But yeah, it's going to be huge. And if you'd like to join, we want only the best community people to come with us. So please submit your ideas and your topics you want to present, maybe a cool thing you've worked on you want to show off before next week, and you'll get an answer next week, and we'll hopefully have you come along. Had some fantastic submissions already, so it's going to be a really good event. Marcin, you're muted.
Obviously, I wanted to say that everyone who is just jealous right now can submit a talk and just be a part of it, which is awesome. And yeah, great fun. And I've seen some people from States already being pumped and really preparing themselves to visit one of those cities and learn about new stuff from Umbraco community members.
Happening around the same time as the US festival as well. It's a great excuse to go to Chicago and go to the US festival, and then maybe come along to a roadshow date. Or for people that are flying in from Europe for the US festival, they can come along to the roadshow as well. So that should be really cool. And HQ are all going to be in town as well. There's Shannon's going to be around. We're going to have Niels and Kim and Anders all in the US at that time. So it's going to be really, really, really cool.
Yeah, and you've mentioned the US Fest, and also during this week we've seen some new speakers being announced there. Janusz Boy, also one of the founder and lead on Boy and Company, is going to speak about CMSs, I presume. I don't know if the talk is there, but I remember a great talks delivered by him in German Fest, for example, about the whole purpose behind the CMSs and products in open source markets and stuff like that. Great speakers. And Callum White.
Of course, because I'll be
there. Yeah.
So
you do you know your topic for this one already, or?
It's being discussed.
It's being discussed, yeah. So it will be announced soon. So yeah, once again, new speakers, new events, and great lineup coming. And smaller event, but not highlighted. It's Umbraco Leads Meetup, which is also the next week. And yeah, Thursday. Yeah, that's correct. So. Who is talking? Kevin Jump and and some Farfield. Kevin Jump, Mr. Using, is going to share some more stuff about using complete and all the rest amazing work being done. So yeah, maybe we can talk more then about other work items, which is a purpose why we have all of you here, which is a .NET Core and Unicore team. Can you tell us more about the team and what are you doing all in Denmark right now?
Maybe introduce yourselves as well, because there's some
exactly
niche faces.
Yeah, I can start. I'm Bjarke from HQ, and I'm the steward of the team, I think is the official name. And yeah, we are gathered here also to kind of kick off the team, and hopefully the outcome will be way more up for grabs tasks and a common understanding of the issues and everything. And yeah, we already have some new up for grabs tasks, so that's super good outcome already.
Yeah, my name's Emma. I work at Rockstar with Knowledge, and been working with Umbraco for probably about 10 years. I thought it was a really good opportunity to get involved and help, but also want to make sure it's sort of demystified for the communities, because I know a lot of our time we spend our time in .NET Framework, perhaps because of Umbraco being in .NET Framework. So sort of I want it to be the friendly approach, but also for getting involved and not too intimidated by the fact that it's .NET Core, and also expand my own knowledge on .NET Core as well.
I'm Steve, and I've kind of been sort of involved I want to get involved from a sort of developer perspective, and just how, as a user of Umbraco, we can make sure it's kind of as smooth as possible to transition after sort of like the previous release was huge. So this one has to sort of be easier to do, because we can't have like lots in a row of really difficult releases, so big upgrades. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm coming from on this.
Yeah, so we can't see me. Well, you can see me, but I can't see you because of the Campari bottles. But I'm Andy, work at Zone, and I think the main thing I found useful is that we're all aware of this big project to move Umbraco onto .NET Core, but to kind of take a piece of that is kind of quite tricky without knowing a bit more about how things are broken down and what the steps are to get from here to where we want to get to. So we've had quite useful sessions, kind of taking some bigger topics and breaking them down, making them a bit more clear, so that either some of us can contribute code, or, as we've said, we can kind of help support the community in doing that by breaking things down and setting up GitHub issues, potentially reviewing PRs and that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. I'm Ivo. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm quite the newbie of the team, actually. But despite, and the youngest, but despite not less enjoyed and excited about the project. And I'm mostly adapting up new knowledge and listening and discussing, and really enjoying that so far.
Excellent. So I'm Benjamin Carleski. I work with ProWorks and the West Coast of the United States, which, Callum, I'm kind of disappointed you aren't extending your road trip any further west than the Mississippi, but
I said there
next time.
was going to be some amendments, and I'm not going to comment on what they are, but I think you'll.
Well, I'm glad to be here with this. Great progress already. We've gotten, I think, 4 new items out there. We got a chance to talk with Bjarke and with Shannon and kind of understand what the issues were so that we can really help contribute and move this progress and move the whole project forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So I said actually last week that when the team was announced that it was a really, really nice, well-balanced team. You've got some incredibly experienced Umbraco developers here, and they'll really help. It's also fantastic to see, for the first time, I believe, someone that's not based in Europe actually joining a team. So we can get we can finally make this a true community team. So that's awesome. And you've explained a bit there about your purpose, which is trying to facilitate the move to .NET Core, but also for you all to actually gain a better understanding of what's involved, so you can help everyone else as well. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about the kind of stuff you're going to be doing over the next 2 or 3 months?
I'll take one of them. I mean, so there's kind of a twofold mission, I think. Yes, it is, the main mission is really getting the community more engaged and helping Bjarke and the HQ team really get all the projects out there, but also there's going to be some really complicated tasks that have to be done. And you kind of need people who are very intimately involved with some of the underpinnings and are working closely with HQ. And that's more than just Bjarke and Shannon can do. And so our mission is also, to kind of take on some of those heavy duty tasks and help with that. And one of those that we're looking at right now is the membership provider is going to be a really difficult, thorny issue, working and trying to get that into the ASP.NET Core identity framework. And I think, Emma, you're already working with your team. You want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, so at Rock Solid Knowledge, we do a lot of work with identity server, and we've got our own sort of admin UI product on top of that. So when we go back, we've sort of talked to Shannon, split everything out, how we think the user bit we think will be slightly easier than the membership, because membership's on .NET membership and users already on ASP.NET identity. So I'm going to speak to Scott Brady and the team at Work and really just flesh out the best approach from scratch and have a chat with you, Bjarke and Shannon, and then hopefully get some tasks out there for the community, but also dedicate maybe a week just solidly on it in our company. So, yeah.
And that's one of the things I think is awesome about this project is, I mean, yes, it is an Umbraco project to move all of these things, but there's a lot of pieces that don't really require Umbraco specific knowledge. You've got people on your team that are ASP.NET Core experts, and we can take advantage of that and use a lot of that outside expertise to really advance the Umbraco community.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just for people that know Umbraco. It's if you've got .NET Core experience and you think you can help guide it, then get in touch. We'd love to hear from you as well. So.
Yeah.
I also found it exciting because we've been mentioning it in the past umbraCoffees that it's been harder to get new .NET developers to work with Umbraco because some of the people considered it as an outdated and old technology to work with. And right now it can be combined because those people who really wanted to work with .NET Core projects and still want to keep their work around Umbraco can combine it all and do two things at the same time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've highlighted some of the issues you've already created, probably during the meeting or the gathering together. So should we expect all of them coming as an issues on GitHub, just used with this prefix on for .NET Core, or is it any other tracker or a list of items you are going to work on?
I think they will be on GitHub. One of the things I've been looking at is stuff that's likely to, stuff we can do in V8 that will make it easier to do this in .NET Core, and obsoleting or marking some of the stuff as obsolete that's kind of likely to be, to change, so we can start prepping, like people can start sort of planning for it earlier. So I know like there's some iPublish content changes, which I've put a little PR out for discussion, and there's probably more coming that we've just been looking at. So it's just like trying to get as much as we can prepped in V8 as well as sort of in the .NET Core side of things as well.
Yeah, that's been
great.
interesting actually. Yeah, because
Some of those
it's not
changes.
just
Great.
yeah, it's not just .NET Core. It's sort of some of them in V8 that can pave the way ready for the .NET Core change. So already, I think 3 out of the 4 are for V8 branch. So you can help with the .NET Core build by working on the V8 branch still. So that might be a good way in as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. We are all looking forward for the output, and I'm more than sure that you will be sharing some updates also after this meeting. Maybe if we are talking about the updates, maybe we can jump back to the updates shared by Rune about the general Umbraco product update now, because it's still a lot of things coming out around Umbraco V8 and not only. So we had a new release this week, which was 8.5.3. With some patch releases for models builders issues discovered after the release of the previous version. Some of the new updates for Umbraco Forms and both versions for V7 and V8, and Umbraco Deploy update, plus some details about upcoming releases and everything what has changed in the roadmap. Which we can see obviously that new in now is an update to the block editor, what excites me a lot because I've seen a lot of discussions around this particular RFC and issue on GitHub, and yeah, I think that a lot of not only developers but also editors are looking for this change to be worked on and implemented to have a new way, obviously better, of creating content and managing content in Umbraco. So yeah, Callum, do you want to add anything else here? Did you have something more?
The two things that I took from this was we're going to get an 8.6 release candidate next week, which is cool.
Yes.
So that would kind of roughly imply that HQ is sticking to every 2 months a major minor. I don't know if we call them that. They're just minor releases now. So yeah, 8.6 hopefully start of February, and then people will have a few weeks to give feedback and improve on it. And the other thing which has been painful since day one is team members on Umbraco use Cloud. Yeah. Previously, you had to pay €5 per user that you wanted, and it just seemed silly. But now it's completely unlimited. Probably how it should have always been.
Yep, that were a really nice set of updates.
I remember where I've had like teams where they don't want to pay for the extra user, and so everyone just ends up using one extra credential, and just get out of paying €5. And yes, people are that cheap. So
we have a special word here in Poland for that, which is in Polish onion and cebula. So yeah, obviously that's the way how it is. But right now, no more cebula. And security is obviously also a big reason behind not sharing the same account with everyone. So we are glad that it's updated now. And also from the community was also busy once again. Anders Bjarke released a new version of Skybridge Umbraco Analytics, which is a beta for Umbraco V8. So another great package tailored and adjusted to be used in Umbraco V8 version. We also released a find and replace update for V8, but it's not publicly announced yet, but it's ready. It also works on V8. Plus, of course, Kevin Jump updated his great package with back office themes, and there is a new dark theme for Umbraco V8, which is awesome. And again, there were a lot of discussions after this release about making styles more configurable in the back office and more easy to be changed. So I hope that it will be result in a lot of improvements, maybe from Umbraco perspective, to make those things like stylings of back office styles easier for everyone. And last but not least,
Nathan said about he has a PR for CSS variables. I think. Which should make that a bit easier.
Yeah, but Nathan also promised to deliver one more package before umbraCoffee, and he found a lot of excuses to not do it. I saw it on Twitter, but we will get a better, more improved version for the next umbraCoffee for sure. And last but not least, we wanted to mention that Perplex team teased us that the last issues and items are being fixed on your marketing suite. And we all already know that it will be demoed and presented on Umbraco Spark, so in 1 month. And right now, some of the agencies are going to start playing with the alpha version, or the first version, basically, of the package itself. And it landed on our as well, with the placeholder for the package to be dropped there. So yeah, great work, and we cannot wait to see it in action. That's from the releases sections. I hope we didn't miss anything. And there was a lot of other things to be highlighted, starting from podcast from our great Umbraco community members, candid contributions, and episode 1. I don't know if you've listened to it. I still have it on my to-do list, so I cannot tell a lot about it. Callum, did you hear the episode?
I've had a listen. I've at least listened to the first 15 minutes. But I saw a few moments ago, Sebastian tweeted he listened to it and thought it was great, very relatable, and that his first pull request, which is basically what they were talking about, their first introduction to open source and whatever, was to the Umbraco project, and he found it super painful and way more painful than it really should have been. And that was, I don't know, maybe quite a long time ago. This is when HQ was only a handful of people. But now, especially with initiatives like this, the Unicore project as well, hopefully that is getting better and easier to contribute. So I'd love to compare first-time contributors in 5 years' time and see how they feel about contributing to Umbraco. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I was supposed to listen to it, but was sharing a journey with Steve, so I felt kind of rude to sit there. But I will leave on the way back because we spent a few days together now. So.
Yeah, making it easier is a lot helpful for everyone to just do more work around Umbraco. Yes, and we were also teased by Dave again about his game. I don't know if you remember the game being shared at one of the Code Gardens in the past.
2 years
so right
ago,
now,
maybe?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was 2 years ago. So right now it landed on the live server, and people who want to play, some people already signed up officially on Twitter. We can do that. But another thread on Twitter, which I really liked to follow, was about the starter kits and base projects for Umbraco itself. And Anthony started this discussion, and still, result is for me surprising, because it still proves that most of the agencies and companies are using the base projects and starter kits. And I had a lot of chats with even some of you here about the reasoning behind using starter kits and why we are not using it right now. So it was great to see the outputs and discussions here, and I know a lot of people shared their experiences and weak points and good points of using base projects. So great discussion, and I think it's worth to be highlighted here. And Callum, what else do we have?
Once we've got the team, should we ask them their view?
Sorry?
I missed that, Callum. What did you say, sorry?
We're incredibly async again. Damn. I said once we have the Unicore team here and we have a nice range of people from different agencies, maybe they can share their views on starter kits, baseline projects. Do you use them?
I don't personally now, but I think if I was maybe starting with Umbraco for the first time, I probably would, at least initially. I've got my own kind of way of doing things, but I do think it's useful, especially if you're just getting started.
I think we don't have a specific starter kit. We kind of follow, I think, Jonathan Richards' Global Manifesto kind of style of build. So we have a kind of standard, but not something we start from. So it kind of tends to be different for each new project. So
yeah, we tend to learn something each build and then maybe try something out and bring that into the next one. But we do talk about how we're doing the setup. We do pull requests, so things will get commented on, but not really like a bootstrap, click and go.
You do it from scratch, clean every time.
Yeah, but then kind of knowing what our internal preferences, like you say, a global manifesto. So you've got content nodes and then global nodes for repository of data items. I think quite a few places do things like that and sort of share knowledge about that. But I think it would be useful to do if you had like new starters and yeah, but I do find things change quite quickly in everything. So it's hard to have one that you just...
Yeah, we have a base build, and so I think that's the hardest thing I've found is the discipline to keep it updated, such that when 6 months' time you aren't starting a new project, you don't think, well, actually, that's a bit out of date now. I may as well just copy the most recent project and work from there.
It depends how many you're doing as well. I mean,
if you're starting lots of projects, then it's more valuable than if you've got bigger projects more spaced out.
Yeah.
I know that Lars Eric shared that they're working on V3 of their baseline. Like they make a new baseline every year because it just gets beyond repair, and you go, oh, let's do it again. Or a new development comes, goes, I want to do it differently. And
so we've created a single repository right now to which we are copying anything what was done correctly in our opinion, to gather it all there and to have a single place from where we are copying stuff to the new projects. And that's the idea, is to release separate elements from it as a NuGet packages, but right now it's just for being copied. Still a single place of maintaining stuff there. But that's interesting.
We have a project that Carl Tynan created, which is sort of front-end adjustments to Umbraco that we can pull into different projects, and we kind of do things that way on as and when basis, rather than one exact template to follow for everything. Because the project I'm working on at the moment is not actually a website, so I need something completely different now anyway. So yeah.
Very interesting to hear different opinions, because everything that's been said there is kind of what I thought was the case. I was really surprised to see a result of that many people in the community saying, yes, we have a standard build and we do try and keep it update, and sharing some of their pain points. So it's probably a discussion that's going to keep going, I'd say, for a long time. Lars just mentioned this is the 4th year that they're rebuilding their baseline.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah. So that's probably all from the list of elements which we wanted to highlight. Besides two another news from Umbraco directly. One of them is about new hire, which is a new addition to the Coma team, and this is a Pia who joined the team recently. and I've just noticed that she's a volleyball player, which is another addition for the sports teams in Umbraco HQ directly. Plus, there was an announcement about the new first gold partner in Ireland. And I've seen some familiar faces going out for some Guinnesses on Twitter. So I presume that the party was interesting and great. So yeah, it's good to see Gold Partners Network growing in Ireland as well. And yeah, that's from the Umbraco, and one more from Umbraco, but more for developers. Call for contributions from Shannon in his Articulate package. So some new issues and work items to be picked by community, and help wanted labels are placed there to give some more time for Shannon and help him to work on Articulate package, which is in my opinion one of the really cool packages to see the patterns and organization of code for extending Umbraco in the way, which is really cool to follow. And that's all on our list. Callum.
Yeah,
we made it. We made it.
What, for the Unicore team, what does the rest of the day have in store beyond probably a trip to Mikkola after work?
I think we're going to try and focus on getting the remaining issues we've talked about kind of into GitHub, and then probably finalize the mission statements and the documents for the team so that they can get published up on the Umbraco blog and let the community know what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
And I think if people want to keep an eye on the GitHub issue tracker, and there will be stuff that kind of turns up that if you're interested, feedback and opinions on that would be really useful. So
yeah, and even the issues that we are targeting to V8, we are still tagging with the NetCore tag. So if you're just interested in really working on stuff to further this NetCore effort, they'll all be tagged with that, even if they're targeting V8. So
cool.
Nice. Marcin, you're on mute again.
So yeah, I just said that of course we will include all of the links and items which we've discussed underneath this video, and everyone can contribute, see and visit those topics and things we were talking about. And yeah, big thanks for joining us today and sharing the progress of work from your side. And yeah, the link for .NET Core issues on GitHub will be on top of the list, so we can then dive into and see if we can help, or if we have someone from our teams to help you in making them done soon, and sooner than later, for sure.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day and great weekend, and we will see each other on the next one next Friday. Bye bye.
Yes.